Games Charles says, it's cool that they want to expand housing and stuff around here, but if they don't smartly plan infrastructure around here, it's going to make the driving situation even worse. You know, that's the number one thing that we hear that people complain about is the traffic and just getting around Central Florida. And I understand that, having been in the car. I put like tens of thousands of miles on my car every year. So in today's video, we're diving into 12 to 15 different projects, small and large, that will make living in Central Florida a little bit easier. So for on each of these, I'm going to talk about a few different things. First off, where is this? Two, if I know how much it's going to cost. I am kind of curious. That's always something I enjoy. Figure out how much it costs the state and the county level so that you know where your tax dollars are going. The next thing is why this matters. Like, what will it do for locals as their day-to-day commute? And then lastly, when is this actually going to happen? So the first thing is the new Independence Parkway extension. This is actually going to be right off of Avalon Road up by Hamlin in the Winter Garden area. And so this is actually going on right now. We did a video not too long ago where we did an update to the Claremont area showing how the connections for the Wellness Way are going to be coming through and getting into the new Independence Way area. So why is this important? Well, it's going to be more connectivity from Orange and Lake County. In fact, we're going to talk about two other projects that do something similar, but I think this is going to open up the Wellness Way area. So if you're in the Claremont, Lake County area, being able to get over to the Hamlin area and all the new retail and everything else going on over there will be very important. It will also give you more quick access to, say, like Winter Garden Village and all of those projects that you don't really have access to quickly right now without maybe going down St. Clair and some other kind of backwards roads that take a little bit more time. So it does look like this is going to be happening over the next 18 months, getting finished according to Orange County. Orange County does seem to be the slower county between Lake County and Orange on getting things done and connected. But earlier this year, Orange County did spend $5 million to fast track this project. So my hopes are that it actually does get completed by the end of 2026. You know, Central Florida has a ton of these little pockets, and some areas are easier to get around than others, and each little individual area offers something different than the other one, which is a really cool thing. My real estate team, the Posit Group, we are here to help whenever the time comes, whether that's today or 10 years from now. If you're looking to sell or buy a house, check us out over on Google. We've got over 1,600 five-star reviews. And then when you're ready to get started, visit theorlandoreal.com/YouTube. The second thing we're talking about is the 516 toll road, which is also the Lake Orange Expressway, formerly known as the Lake Orange Connector. This is a $500 million project that will be completed roughly in 2029. They've already started the first segment, which starts over at 429 and connects the toll road there just south of Schofield Road and connects all the way over to 27. Now, it's very, very close to that new Independence Parkway extension that we just talked about in the last story, but this is going to be a toll road, so it's going to be something that you're charged to drive on and a little bit faster than the Parkway extension. The difference here, though, is that it says that they're trying to figure out a way to charge your electric car while you drive on it. It's only 4.5 miles long, and so it'll be interesting to see how much of that actually happens. Is there just going to be Tesla chargers on the side, or is it actually going to be as you drive on it that somehow it recharges your car? But adding some more connectivity between Lake and Orange County, I'm excited about it. One more story about this, and then we'll move on. The last road we're going to talk about on the west side, this is another one that connects Orange and Lake County, but probably the most contentious is the Flemings Road connection. This is something that has been talked about for the past 5 years, especially from the people living in Claremont, because many of them bought property out that way, hoping to connect over to the Disney side, the Orange County side, and Horizon West, and they were promised this years and years and years ago, but it's been delayed after delay. And so I started going through some of the county records and figuring out what does the original road agreement say and where does that actually sit as of today. There's basically an agreement in place where once Avalon was widened, this is County Road 545, was widened from up north at Water Springs down to sort of the New Hartzog area, and it was widened to a 4-lane highway that the county would then step in to finish out Flemings Road. There was also some provisions in there about putting in a stoplight, and then nothing really happened after that was all approved back in 2020. Fast forward, they've actually amended that agreement back in 2022, and now you look at the companies that are now having to put forward money based on their impact fees and their lots that they're developing in that area. That's Surrey Homes, that's KHOV, MI Homes, Rockwell, Taylor Morrison, as well as a half a dozen other developers in that area, that as they start selling more and more houses, that they have to put in funds to pay for all of these roads. And so while many people thought this was like a foregone conclusion that the county was just going to step in and do it, it's actually at the pace of building in the Orange County side, which is why it's delayed. ClickOrlando.com actually did a whole article back in late March where they reached out to the county and asked them why things were taking so long and when they thought that things were going to begin to get started based on all of the development that's already happening in the area. And according to them, they said that the agreement calls for construction of the road project on or before July 1st of 2025, which is literally this week. And so it'll be interesting to see if they finally move forward on a project that's taken what seems like so long. All right, so moving off of the Lake Orange County line and into Orange County a little bit, there's a project that was put out for bid this past week, which I'm actually really excited about, having somebody that uses this area quite a bit, and that's the Western Way expansion. So Western Way right now is that back doorway where you can get in and out of Disney, over to cast member housing, the Flamingo Crossing area, kind of the Coronado Springs, Blizzard Beach area. All of that right there is Western Way. And there's two big projects that they're bidding out. Disney is, or the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District is bidding out. And they're going to be doing a massive change to that interchange by having on-ramps and off-ramps to get on and off that road. They're also going to be widening Western Way from 4 lanes to 6 lanes. And it's going to hopefully alleviate that 4 to 7 p.m. traffic that so many of us get caught up in. Because unless you're going to take I-4 up to 429 and around, this is really about the only way to get from, say, Celebration or like East Disney kind of area over into the Horizon West area. And so it's really cool to see some of these new projects where I think will have immediate impact. Now, there's going to be more people that use it, obviously, if they start seeing that traffic isn't as bad as it used to be. And so it will be interesting to see how long this actually alleviates traffic, especially as some of these other projects do open up. Let me know down below, do you use this in your day-to-day commute? All right, so let's keep talking about the theme park areas and some of the interesting things that are going on with construction and roads and even a pedestrian bridge here in a minute. But if you haven't been over to Epic Universe and seen the elevated roundabout that's over there, the thing is absolutely incredible. I feel like Universal and Orange County sort of quietly did this Kirkman Road extension project, which then allowed for a lot more movement around the convention center and Epic Universe and everything kind of going on off I-Drive. And so it's been amazing to see actually how fast they moved on those projects when so many other things are taking so many years. I mean, heck, Universal built all of Epic Universe in the time that it takes to do a little road extension in other places. So it just sort of blows my mind. But if you've been in that area, you know how actually useful a lot of this is to keep the traffic patterns moving. Now, go over to I-Drive and Sand Lake. There's a new project that was just approved. It's $36 million is what it's going to be budgeted at. They say that it's hopefully going to solve more crashes and people hopefully not getting hurt in this area. There were 660 crashes on I-Drive and Sand Lake just over the past 5 years, many of those because there's people and pedestrians moving back and forth. So they hope that this elevated bridge, it's got this futuristic look, is going to help keep people safe and cause less crashes. But let me know down below, which of these two projects do you find most useful? One of the projects that affect probably the most amount of people coming through Greater Orlando is the I-4 project. Now, there are dozens of projects going all up and down I-4, and we're going to dive into a few of those, and the billions of dollars that they're spending right now to hopefully alleviate some of the congestion that's going on in some of the choke points, mainly the North Polk County area and the Osceola County area between Champions Gate and Walt Disney World called it. That's where the most amount is going on right now. It's interesting, a lot of the reports and videos that they put out over the past couple years say that they actually didn't plan on doing any major improvements to this area for the next 10 or 15 years, and that they're pulling up a lot of these projects right now. And so the governor's office and FDOT have got together to put the money in place and get these going. So the first major project, you would have already seen them working on it right now. They're actually adding congestion relief lanes. And this is actually in preparation for all of the other work that's coming down the pipe over the next couple years as they continue to expand that entire area. You might have noticed that they have an extra couple lanes. I personally haven't seen a lot of congestion relief around that 5 to 7 p.m. mark. And yet I do believe that over the next 3 to 5 years, as these bigger projects take place, that we will start to see some actual relief. They've got it broken down on movingi4forward.com. There's actually 6 different projects. There's an accelerated start, which I just talked about, the congestion pricing. Project number 2 is going to focus on I-4 east of World Drive and east of 192. And then they got Project 3 that's going to take care of I-4 from East County 532 and west of World Drive all the way to the 429 exchange. And they've got 2 other ones taking care of 536 and the 429 532 interchange. There's a lot of things going on to kind of prepare. You've got the Poinciana extension. You've got so many new roads coming in that's going to open up Davenport. All of this to say that they're going to be taking I-4, adding congestion lanes. That project's going to be wrapped up by the end of 2025. And then beyond that, they're going to be adding a toll road down the middle of I-4. They're going to be widening off ramps. They're going to be making it a little bit easier to get around between that Champions Gate, World Drive, upward to 417, all the way down to 536, and hopefully make it a little bit easier to get around. Now, I think one of the things that they could do that they have not talked about is clearer road signs, even just for all of the tourists that come into this area. It's kind of confusing for some people that don't live here to understand, how do they get to Disney? How do they get to their Airbnb down in Davenport? How do they get into these different spots that I think that causes some of this congestion? There's so many accidents in this area, so many kind of people going from the left lane, cutting other people off into the right lane. But let me know down below, after all of this is said and done, do you think it will make a difference? Before we move on from I-4 and all of the other projects going on with that, there's 3 more right above 536 where we left off in the last story that are going to make massive impacts for those living in the area, visiting in the area, and that sort of thing. And the first one is the Crossroads project. This is the eminent domain thing that where FDOT actually jumped in, took a lot of the property that was in the Crossroads section. There was like the McDonald's there was Goodings there was Flippers, all of those kind of things, and got rid of all of those businesses to put in essentially a elongated off-ramp and a new on-ramp that's going to cost about $78 million, as what they said online, plus the land that it costs them to buy from these people to hopefully alleviate some of the backup that they have over onto I-4. And it's strictly just the on-ramp, off-ramp situation over on Apopka Vineland. The second project right up from there is Darrell Carter Parkway, and this is actually going to be the one that's done first. They moved this up. This is, I think, originally around 2027, 2028, but it will actually be finished here in 2025. Now, this is going to help access to O-Town West. It's going to have access to the Target and all of the other kind of stuff off of Palm Parkway and Darrell Carter Parkway. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is the way that they've set up for bikes and pedestrians. They've got all of these diverging diamonds down at Sand Lake, which is what we'll talk about next, but the way that they bring in bikes and then have them currently set up, it doesn't seem massively safe. And one of the things that they keep talking about is trying to create more bike paths, more pedestrian paths. And so while I'm excited that there's going to be an on-off ramp at Darrell Carter and open up both sides of I-4 into just more ease of access, I don't love how they have this set up. So let me know down below if you are somebody who does bike a ton or walks to work back and forth. Is this something that you're concerned with? The last project off of I-4 that will have massive impacts is that Sand Lake interchange. There's the diverging diamonds that they've already temporarily set up, and over the next 2 years is what it's going to take to finish those off ramps and on ramps. And basically they're saying that there were so many accidents in that area that this diverging diamond is going to hopefully solve a lot of those issues by having you get off and turn left immediately instead of having to cross over traffic. Now, there's a lot of traffic that goes up and down that restaurant row, and there's going to be even more that goes down Sand Lake as I-4 develops out and everything else on the east side of that interchange. And so it'll be interesting once these 3 projects are done over the next 3 years. Darrell Carter is going to be finished first in 2025, and then you've got Apopka Vineland, we'll call it the Crossroads project, done in 2026, and then Sand Lake done in 2027. There's a few other things going on that are actually more to the north. And when I asked on my channel, hey, what are some of the projects you guys wish that would move forward or you're a little bit more excited about that would help your daily life, I saw the Maitland connector, the 414 extension project brought up a couple times. So here's an update on that. This is going to be a $500 million project that's going to expand the 414 and give more multimodal access to both pedestrians and bikes, but then also more toll opportunities going in there. So when they break down the project benefits, they said that they're basically looking to add more reliable trip times for commuter, commercial, and emergency vehicles, improve the systems that connect 429 and I-4, and improve safety, hopefully. And so project timeline, this was started to be talked about in 2022. The design began in late 2023. Currently, as it sits today, they're going to be doing some design meetings and going to the public and saying, hey, what do you guys think about this that we're looking to create? Design would end in early 2026, and hopefully construction starts in early 2027 with an end date in 2028. They think this is going to be a fairly easy project, and even though they're spending $500 million, hopefully will ease traffic up in that area. But let me know if this is your backyard. Is this something that you would use more often and would help your daily commute? Now, inevitably, somebody is going to comment below that, hey, Ken, all of these are car-dependent projects. What about light rail? What about busing? What about pedestrians and bike paths and that kind of thing? And you couldn't be more right. And so the biggest project that's going on that would help people be multimodal is the Sunshine Corridor. Now, this is something that's been talked about now for at least 8 or 9 years. It finally moved through planning and now is moving into the design phase. And there's a lot of other things that need to happen in order to get this to actually move forward with anything. But should it actually happen, it's going to open up kind of the MCO airport all the way through to Disney Springs and bringing on the Bright Line through that, eventually down through to Tampa. It's also going to expand the Sunrail. It's also going to expand access to the Lynx bus system and a bunch of other different opportunities for people to be able to be more connected, and you get to choose how you want to get around instead of just having to be in the car. Anytime you hear the Sunshine Corridor come up, in my opinion, it's something to support in regards to the way that we can get around here in Central Florida, whether you're a tourist or you live here full time. The most contentious and last road that we'll talk about coming here to Central Florida is the Osceola Parkway extension. Now, this is a 14-mile stretch of land that goes from 417 just west of Lake Nona, swoops down to the Osceola-Orange County line, then stretches east over to the Split Oak area, and then drops down into the Sunbridge area and down into St. Cloud. Now, this is a massive win for people that live and work in Orange County and in Orlando and then need to live in St. Cloud or vice versa. If you don't want to sit on Narcoossee or some of these other major roads, Boggy Creek, for all of this time, this is going to give you some significant relief in your day-to-day commute. Now, the reason why this is taking a little bit longer because they've been working on alternatives specifically as it relates to Split Oak Forest. You'll notice on the map here, it shows the Split Oak minimization alternative. It kind of shows this swoop down to not affect the conservation land that was already there. Now, back in the 90s, the Split Oak area was actually set aside as supposed to be that you could not touch this. But then you look at a road needing to come through and you've got lakes and neighborhoods and all these other things. And unfortunately, the only path to get from Orange to Osceola County and down into the connection where a lot of the growth is happening is that bottom line of Split Oak Forest. I'm not saying this is good. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just telling you this is what's been going on over the past few years. This is moving forward finally after all of these years. And I do believe that once this is finished, it's going to cost well over $1 billion. In 2018, the estimates were roughly $1 billion, but with inflation and everything else that's happened over the past 7 years, my guess is that this is going to be significantly more when it's all said and done. But let me know, is this road something that will help you in your daily commute? So that's it for today. We've got a ton of projects that are in the works and on the cusp of getting started, which will make living in Central Florida even easier. Let me know down below which of these projects will make the biggest impact for you and which areas still need work that I didn't even mention today. My goal is to keep you the most informed audience in our area, and so make sure you hit the subscribe button before you leave. We'll see you guys on the next video.